most famous physical therapist on the internet.
Hi folks, I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Together we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
And our opinion, of course, Bob.
Today we're going to show you the top 10 strengthening exercises for painful knees. It's tough because your knees are painful. You don't want to do any strengthening, but yet the strengthening can help the pain, can help it decrease. So we're going to try to show you exercises you can do without increasing it, hopefully.
Kind of modified or gentle strengthening. We
Right.
don't want to get too aggressive.
By the way, if you're new to our channel, please take a second to subscribe to us. We provide videos how to stay healthy, fit, pain-free, and we upload every day. Also, go to bobandbrad.com because what we are giving away today, this week, is our suspension straps, and we're going to show you these later. We're going to show you them for one of the exercises. How it works really great for it.
Wonderful tool.
Yeah, it'll be, the contest will obviously be pinned to the top of the page on Facebook. Go to Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok if you want a 60-second version of our program. And we are starting a podcast. Very soon. We got things ready. Almost there.
Yeah, podcast.
So, all right, first exercise. This is one everybody can do. This is one you want to do throughout the day. If you're somebody that sits a lot, every half hour I would do this.
Okay.
I had my sister doing this. She sits a lot, having a lot of knee pain. The knee does not like being in an immobile position all day long.
Exactly right.
You want to get those nutrients flowing into the knee.
Do you want me to tell you about the example?
Sure.
My friend had a heart attack. He had some knee problems, but nothing big. He went and they went to the femoral crease for the artery. He had to keep his legs stationary in bed for a day and a half until that healed so he could move. Day and a half, his knee was so stiff, he needed a crutch to walk.
Yeah.
And it took about a week, and it finally loosened up. He's back to normal. But just because no movement for a day and a half, tighten that knee right up.
And the conventional thinking is that, well, it was resting. It should be better.
Right.
But it doesn't.
No.
You got to get that synovial fluid going. That's how the nutrients are in there. So Brad's going to show you in a chair. I'm going to just show you here. Basically, all you're doing is knee extensions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I usually tell them to count to.
Yep. That's
get a little where you tighten the muscle a little bit.
Yep. You feel those quads working.
Right. Who can't do these? But it gives you some movement and it gives you a little bit of strength.
And if you can't get them all the way up, you go as high as you can.
Right.
It'll get better with time.
And if it goes, it hurts. If there's a spot that it hurts, maybe just work around that spot now.
Sure. Yep. Do what you can.
Figure out a way to do it. I'd say at least 10 repetitions every half hour. My knee just cracked.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Seated straight leg raise. This one's a little bit harder. This one, you're going to actually lean forward, get to the edge of the chair, and you're going to lift up like this. This is a little more strength.
Now, this, if you're at a table, you can hold on to the table, and that'll give you some stability. If
some
it's
leverage.
Hard.
Or you can put your hands down here, a little bit of help.
Yep.
But what's nice about this one is if your knee hurts when you move it, you're strengthening without moving it.
Sure.
So you're not getting that movement that we want, but you are getting strengthening.
Yeah, and that's those quads, so that's important.
Now, if you want to do some in bed before you even got out of bed, you can do this same straight legs while you're lying straight on your back. So you could put one leg up like this to kind of support your pelvis, and I'm just going to lift up like that.
So this is really important, bring this leg up. It really helps. And notice about Bob, he's not lifting it straight up and down. He's getting it even with the other knee.
Right.
That's a good location.
Yeah, if you go like this, it starts working on my back even. It's hard.
Yeah.
You want to do both sides to keep it. It's amazing. I really feel that in the quad, Brad.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go. I'm going to do the side one here. I'm going to go away because I'm going to do the same leg.
Oh.
And I'm keeping the toe pointed toward the wall. I'm not up toward the ceiling.
Right.
And I'm going to start doing off to the side like this, hip abduction.
You're going to have to take the covers off to do this one, Bob.
I agree.
Otherwise, it'll be pretty aggressive. But look at the bottom leg. He has it flexed in the knee, and that gives you a little stability. It makes it a little easier.
Provides a little base.
Right.
Now, you're working the hip here too, obviously, but you're getting a little bit of knee strength too. And the same with this one.
The hip and the knee, they work together.
Yeah, you want to make sure they're both strong. If your hip is weak, it's going to affect your knee. If your ankle's weak, it's going to affect your knee. The joint above and the joint below often shape the joint in between.
That's why we're physical therapists, Bob, because we understand this. We're sharing. But look at this knee. He keeps it straight, and that focuses more on the hip. extensor.
There we go. Get a little bit of hamstring with that though, too,
Yep,
right?
exactly.
All right, where are we at, Brad? Now
We're right here.
We could do adduction too.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
This one is a little difficult.
Yeah, not a favorite of mine.
Yeah.
Just you're working if you want to work that inner thigh
Yep.
and that muscle going across a little bit like that, you can do these too.
You know what? Stay back there, down there, Bob. I'm just gonna. When I have my patients to do it, I have them bring this knee up and
Oh, sure.
and that it does put your body in a different position,
Yeah.
but they feel a little more
A
comfortable.
little bit better.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Exactly.
Or you can skip it.
Yeah. All right, we're going to skip on over to here now, speaking of which. All right, next one, you do need an exercise ball or a physio ball.
Sure.
And these come in handy for a lot of actually knee and lower extremity exercises. But
And actually, if you're just doing this one, you don't need such a big ball. You can get away with a smaller one.
right,
So it
it's
works.
just a great way to do squats because you can keep the knees, the feet quite out far from you,
right.
and it's going to put less stress on the knees. If your feet are back like this and you're bending your knee, and my knee is going way past the front of my foot,
That vertical line.
yeah,
that-
vertical line, a lot of stress on the knee, a lot of
Right.
shear force.
Yep.
Now, that may not bother you if you have good knees, but if you have bad knees, you're going to know it. So you can put the feet way out here, and you can just easily start with some shallow squats
Right.
like this. That's what's nice about it. Don't bring your knees in like this, and don't bring your knees out like that. Keep them straight forward over your toes.
Yeah. I want to emphasize, Bob has no shoes on. I'd really say do this with
Shoes on, right?
because if you're on a floor that's slippery with socks, you'll slip right out and you'll have a little accident.
Yeah, eventually you can work down to further and further as pain allows. But again, we do not want pain for these. But this is a great functional exercise. It strengthens all the muscles that possibly could give you trouble. So what are you looking for, Brad?
Well, for some people, if you have something to hold on to or even put a movable
Sure.
chair, it
does make a big difference.
yeah, it's amazing. It's a stability as well as strength. A little bit makes a big
A
difference.
lot of times what you want to do is even eccentric strengthening with a knee. So that means you're going to work on the way down,
Yeah.
but then you're going to have help on the way up.
Yeah.
And this is a great one to do for painful knees. Work on the way down, help on the way up.
Again, I can't emphasize enough. If it starts to hurt when you go so far down, do not go that far. Stay in that pain-free range. It might be shallow at first.
Yeah, very shallow.
Or depending if you're having a bad day, you did something to irritate them, you might even want to take a break if it's too much, but work them as tolerated.
I just saw a study on this, Brad. I read yesterday about how it was amazing. Just doing strengthening decreases the pain in the joint.
Sure.
I mean, when you strengthen around the joint. And it didn't take that long either.
And it's just a matter of finding the right exercises.
Right. So we're giving you some here today. Brad's going to now show you, this is our giveaway actually, the suspension straps.
Yep.
These are, by the way, very well made.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just so impressed with these guys. The Flige, F-L-I-G-E. These are high quality straps for a really low price.
Yep.
And the best quality I've seen.
Yeah, they're not going to break. I mean, this
That's
isn't an
right.
exercise, but they're just very strong. Okay, should we start
Yeah.
the exercise? Okay, so the first one we're going to do is just the squats. So how far you get out is going to depend on your comfort level, but we're just going to start baby squats like this.
And this is like the ball on the wall. It really gives you support.
Right. Liz, can you show? And again, I would do this with shoes on. You don't have to, but I don't want you to do in squats like this where your heels come off. And I have a lot of patients do that. It puts too much stress on the knees. Keep your feet flat. And that's why we're using this suspension strap, so you can control and have good mechanics, less stress on the knee. We're not trying to get way down to here by any means.
Oh.
The farthest you're going to go is to here. But if you have painful knees, you're probably going to just start with shallow ones and do 10 of them and just work it slowly.
It really gives you support. I
Yeah.
mean,
A lot of confidence.
Right.
You could put a chair behind you. Well, why don't you grab that chair, Bob? Sometimes I have patients use a chair because they don't really know where they are in space.
As a guide to how far down to go.
And I'll put that in the clinic and I'll say, now when you feel that chair, don't go any farther. Obviously you can't anyways, but it lets you know. And then if you're tired, you can simply sit.
Sure.
A little safer that way.
And then, you're
and
gonna
then the lunges.
Show the lunges. Yeah.
So right there from that same position, you could lunge forward, but we find it works better to take a step backwards and then lunge down, holding on, take your time.
Again,
And,
these are ones that I have trouble with. It actually hurts my knees a little bit. But when I do it with these, no problem at all.
No problem, yep.
It's just I've actually started doing them again for that reason.
So, you know, chances are you're not going to go way down to here. For one thing, if your knee hits that floor and it's a hard floor, it's going to hurt. So take your time, and the goal is just to work at a nice modest pace and intensity, level, depth. If you feel pretty comfortable it's getting too easy, you can do 10 of them, and you want to add a little more knee range of motion and strength, you know, you could do this and put a little knee kick in there.
Little flare in there.
Yep, little flare. Again, 10 of these is good.
Why don't we cut away, and I'm going to show 2 more, Brad. But by the way, you must have just did some painting.
What are you doing, Bob?
You must have did some painting.
Bob, you're touching me. Yeah, there is paint. That's white. That's white paint. I was doing side lights.
All right, we're going to jump over here. All right. If you don't have any equipment, you don't have the suspension straps, you don't have the ball.
Sure.
You can go ahead and take a door, not the doorway, and a chair, and you can actually hold on to the handle on both sides like this. Spread your legs apart comfortably, and you can lower yourself down under control, and then pull yourself up, lower yourself down, under control, pull yourself up. You can do it with a sink too. If
Sure.
there's a sink here you could grab on.
If you can't get down to touch the chair, that's okay. You can just go back up before
Yeah,
you.
you could go down to this point and then pull back up too. Again, this is eccentric strengthening. So we're strengthening on the way down and then pulling on the way up.
Yep.
So Brad's going to show a couple one on the stairs here now.
Because, you know, actually, if you do have a stair rail or something, this actually works pretty good, Bob. You've got
Yeah, that would work too.
a nice
Yep.
option as long as, you know, things are
The
good and
spindles are
solid.
holding.
Yep, and you're not too, you know, large of a person. Or this is a nice, I do this with a lot of people, and I'll have them hold their rail,
Yeah.
and then they're just pushing straight up,
Yep.
and then come down slowly. That's that eccentric aspect Bob was talking about. And, you know, see if you can do 10. Now, if you're doing these and you find you're leaning way forward like this to push up, that is not working the legs the way we'd like to. So use your arms and keep good posture. We want to maintain good posture in everything we do.
And you can also go straight forward like
Yeah,
that.
like that. And it works really nice if there's a rail on both sides. This is really the deluxe. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing through the rail, but up posture, we're not going like this and doing, that's called cheating or compensation. Up and down. You'll feel those quads working after 10 of those. And if you can't get to 10, that's fine. Do whatever's comfortable. Use the arm, the rails as needed to assist.
Brad, I want to point out one more thing over here on the suspension straps. If you decide you're going to get some of these suspension straps and you want to use them with our wall anchors,
Sure.
you go to their website, Flige,
Yep.
and you can find the set here. There's also a section, I guess, where you can add in some carabiners that fit on our wall anchors, because
Right.
the one that they have do not.
They're a little small.
Yeah, they're a little small. So you'll put it in your cart and they'll give them to you for free.
Oh,
if
that's
you,
a good
if you
deal.
already have the wall anchors.
Yep.
So just as a, and again, they have a discount right now for the Flige suspension straps. So it's a good time to buy.
Sure. Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
All right. Remember, Brad and I can fix just about anything.
Except for.
A broken heart.
But we continue to work on our endeavor.
We persevere.
The saga continues.
Yeah.